Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Now, on to today's story. Regressing as a person rant. The emotional destruction she has left behind might turn me into a worse person. When I was younger, I used to fight and go out drinking with my buddies to pick up chicks often. I wasn't always so nice to the women I've encountered, and the experience left me feeling empty. I was a lot more angry and depressed back then, and after a lot of soul searching, I decided to be a lot more peaceful and kinder. I wanted to focus on my spiritual journey. I lost interest in partying and meeting women unless it was for real connection. I avoided dating unless it was really special. I thought I found that special connection with her. Then she cheated on me twice. I felt and still feel emasculated. This feeling leads to thoughts of reclaiming my masculinity, but they are also destructive. I've been lifting more to get back to what I used to be like, which is good, but I also have been wanting to beat the shit out of someone and duck around. I fantasize about beating the shit out of the guys she slept with, even though they did nothing wrong and got screwed over by her as well. Even the thought of slapping her around a bit crossed my mind. She definitely deserves it more than the guys she ducked. But I don't want to be a guy who fantasizes about beating up a woman. I think about sleeping with some of the girls I know and in the process avoid intimacy whatsoever. I don't even know if sleeping with other people will help me feel better. I may feel empty again. I judged the type of guys who only care about ducking around instead of searching for something deeper. But I understand it. They probably are in pain, and that pain was probably caused by a woman. I know that I won't be able to trust myself to fall in love again. I know that if the next person tells me she loves me, I won't be able to trust her. I'm depressed and angry now, and I wonder if it matters at all if I let myself fall back into old patterns. You have a tremendous amount of personal trauma that predates her infidelity. Your very unhealthy view of relationships likely predates the additional trauma she caused. I'd suggest confronting that head first and why she was never a healthy relationship before you slip back into old habits. First off, good for you for being able to acknowledge your faults and correct them. That is huge. Not very many people can do this. How about instead of falling into old habits or unhelpful situations, find a new hobby or interest in something that will help you meet a new group of people. I'm kind of in the same situation. I need to find a new hobby to do in the new town I live in. There's not a lot of social life going on around here. That could also be another suggestion: new place, new faces. Stay strong. DM me if you want to talk. Other than lifting, I have been really getting into dancing. It's a good way to meet people, especially women. It does distract me for the duration of a dance. The problem is it still reminds me of her because we met while dancing. The way I have to keep telling myself to look at it is that she was a part of my life for a time, but because of my actions of mine she's no longer there, and I have to pick up and move on for not only myself but my kids. I'm not going to try and give you other activities to try because I don't know you, but from what you've mentioned, maybe try running or biking. I guess what I'm trying to say is find something new that you haven't done before as a hobby, something that's completely out of the realm of anything that's going to remind you of her. I really like hiking. Keep it together. If you became a person you like, do not backslide. Chances are a lot of people like who you became and would not like to see the overindulgent a hold back. Do you really want to look in the mirror and see that guy again? You do that and you let her control what you become. I may have offended some women, but this wasn't an attack on women, just a rant and perhaps coming to an understanding why some men despise women as a whole, even if I don't agree. I know plenty of women who have been screwed over by men, and from my personal experience, men are generally shittier. I have been shitty to women too in the past. I get why some women hate men. People are shitty in general, I guess. It's what I came to understand. I knew this already. Which is why I wanted to be as loving, compassionate and understanding as possible with any future partner I meet. I thought I could be that with this person, and I ended up being punished for it. Ultimately, I don't want to be a shitty person, but I don't want to be hurt like this again. I was perhaps looking for a short-term solution to the pain. Drinking and hooking up and even training are all ultimately temporary distractions. But I guess there are no shortcuts. Is this enough to rebuild trust? Reconciliation. You can look at my post history and see what I've been going through, but the rundown is that my partner cheated and has a history of pathological cheating and hiding the truth. She begged me to stay, so I've stayed to work on things, but it has been a tough uphill battle because she was resisting the idea of creating strict boundaries. For example, cutting off all contact with her ex, whom she cheated on more than once and cheated on me with, was something she resisted. She told me she still loved him and had to know how he was doing. She also didn't see the big deal with kissing other guys while out partying, although she knows if she does it's over. I would set boundaries or talk about the incidents of betrayal and she would complain and resist like a child. A few weeks back we had a couple conversations that made me think I wasn't dealing with a normal person and there was no hope of reconciliation. The utter lack of consideration about how I, her partner, feels shocked me. I got the impression that she didn't really think about what she did was an awful thing and she doesn't feel remorseful or guilty. She's the one who begged me to stay after what she did, so she should be the one offering boundaries and providing me safety. She should be asking me how high if I ask her to jump. She said that she felt controlled and bullied by all these conversations I kept initiating. I thought I was dealing with a selfish person who needed to grow up a bit, but at the time it felt like I was in fact dealing with a mental disorder and a person who simply didn't have the capacity to self-reflect and change. I had come to the conclusion that I had no choice but to end it. I decided to have one final talk with her about it after some thinking. I wanted to see how she would react, and I expected her to react in her usual selfish me first attitude and blame me for wanting to end it. Instead, she actually surprised me. She showed much more empathy and said that she knows the screwed things up and she wants to be better for me. Even though she responds with immaturity at what I say, she actually takes time to think about it. She read a psychology book on infidelity that made her think a lot. She has made changes. She keeps boundaries much clearer with men. She makes it clear she has a boyfriend and actually wears a ring when she goes out. In her social media she posts pictures of me, so the first thing anybody who adds her will see is us together. She has deleted pictures of her ex, which is something she resisted at first, and only talks to him about what is absolutely necessary. They had an apartment together, so they had to settle that. She doesn't go out partying and dancing as much as she used to. She mostly hangs out with other girls and everybody in her social circle knows about me, so if she does do something, they would know that she is cheating. I'm also glad she is the closest to her roommate, who is from a more conservative culture and is married, so she could keep her in line. She says something in her changed and that she can't be like how she used to be. She texts and calls me all the time. When she goes out she tells me about it. After some thinking I decided to continue with the relationship. I saw a glimmer of hope and perhaps she actually has potential to change. This was a little more than a week ago. Things have been better, but here is where it gets tricky. Even though D-Day was more than 2 months ago now, not a long time, the day where reconciliation could truly start was more than a week ago. Before that I had no hope. I still need to have the talks about what happened and what to do going forward. But she says she is getting tired of them. She says she's done so much but nothing changes and that I always feel bad. Like it's my problem for still being hurt by what she did and how little she did to reconcile afterwards. She says she feels like her every move is being controlled by me and that she can't do what she wants. She says she feels like I will never trust her. It reminds her of an ex she had who was abusive and controlling, but also the only ex she didn't cheat on. The thing is that it's only really been less than 2 weeks since we could truly start to rebuild. She seems to want me to just do a 180 and act like everything is all good now because now she changed about a week ago. Perhaps she understands that she hurt me, but it seems she doesn't understand the degree of how much she hurt me. While her changes are good, they are in fact to me, what one should do in a normal relationship anyway. You should make it clear that you have a partner if you have one, and you should always respect boundaries and check with your partner what is okay regarding the opposite sex. That's normal relationship stuff, but to her, it's some huge thing. She still goes out to parties and dances, which I would like her to not do at all for now, but I don't feel good not letting her do what she really loves. She loves dancing, we dance together, and she said initially she wouldn't go out to dance events until I'm there. We are currently in different countries, but she asked me if she could go dancing with some of her girlfriends, which I said okay to. But her girlfriends haven't shown as much interest and she's been going by herself, which I'm not too keen on. She says she makes it clear she's not available and people have been respectful, but she still exchanges Instagrams with people, which in itself wouldn't be a problem, but now she has guys trying to slide into her DMs. Guys are asking her when she's going dancing and offering to drive her. Funny that it's only guys doing this, not the new women she's met. She's saying no to them, but I don't like that they still have a line of communication with her. People don't really care even if they see pictures of us in her socials. That she still exchanges contacts with people knowing a lot of men are clearly wanting to get into her pants bothers me. In one of our talks she has told me things about her recent past that really bothered me. It happened before we started dating, but her nonchalant attitude about it made me think she doesn't feel remorse in the same way for her past shitty actions. She does spend a big chunk of her time talking to me when that time could be spent on other things, which I do appreciate, but I would like to make deeper changes. Like she should be doing something really big, like completely sacrificing dancing to work on herself, or telling me about all the things she's reflected on. Because I am now wondering if these are simply superficial changes and she will eventually revert back to her old self when she feels things are safe. What should she be doing to really show me she is truly changing? But she says she is getting tired of them. If she's tired after a week of discussion about cheating on you multiple times, I'd go ahead and brace for the worst. My guess is she's shifting things to, I've done everything I could for 7 days, I mean I even read a book, my god, and you're still talking about this? Her next affair will probably be blamed on you. Sounds like that's what she's working it around to. She should be listening to you and talking to you. You shouldn't be the one initiating the conversations, and you shouldn't be the one begging for closure. If she's tired of working through anything after a week, it's likely she's just setting you up to be the one who couldn't let go, and then she'll probably use that to get sympathy from a potential rebound. That's what it sounds like to me. You'll know soon enough. Token gestures like reading a book, maybe letting you look at a phone, etc. don't require any self-reflection or depth. Infidelity can take years to recover from. 7 days of discussion and reading a book won't fix anything. If she's not doing what you need to have peace, then she's not doing enough. If she lacks empathy or doesn't have a conscience at all, she's probably just going through the motions so she can tell her next victim that you were at fault. However she talks about people from her past, that's how she'll talk about you someday. If she's back out partying, she's going to cheat again. I can't guarantee that, but it's a good hunch. If that's more important to her than giving you time to heal, that's another answer about whether you can go on. Party girls aren't really marriage material anyway, especially ones that have cheated repeatedly. She's just repeating her pattern and dragging it out to make sure she doesn't look like the bad guy. I'd start to shift my mind to, it might be time to meet someone in my own area. Man. Even r/as1 after infidelity won't work for you. You still have time, don't get trapped in this SHT hole. Get out of this relationship ASAP. Quite honestly, you are fooling yourself. The foundation of this 1-year relationship is quicksand. She fought you for 2 months about even empathizing about change until finally showing desire. But it's been 2 weeks and she read a book. Ooh. She's so serious about changing. Then you go straight into how she's exhibiting the same symptoms. She resists you and calls you controlling. She goes out dancing with all the other men. She isn't changed. She's the same damn person she has always been, and she will always be the same damn person. She's a pathological cheater and liar. Your words. And you trust that she's honest about changing now? Quite honestly, why are you doing this to yourself? You entered a relationship with a broken human being who is doing the bare minimum to change. Love isn't nearly enough to carry a relationship. Love needs action. The foundation for this relationship is incredibly weak. She is mentally broken without a true commitment to change, so she'll break again. Do you want to feel hurt just now, or both now and later? Because that's your only two choices. This relationship will fail. It's just a matter of when. The glimmer of hope that you saw in her was merely the headlight of an oncoming train. Cheaters have no mental fortitude, otherwise they wouldn't be cheaters in the first place. This good girl phase of hers? Yeah, it won't last. You're 1 week in and she's already complaining why you haven't magically changed overnight. Do you honestly think she has the endurance to stick to her good girl routine for the 3rd of May 2010 years it takes for healing to occur? Why both of you don't do a big favor to one another and go different ways? With all of the differences you have, why do you still want to be together? You are young, life is long, why don't you look for someone more compatible? As I was responding to some comments, she called me and we had a heavy 5-hour discussion. I wanted to get her to understand how I felt, and it was futile. I reminded her that at the beginning I told her this was going to be hard and it's going to take a lot of work for a long time. She at the time told me she was ready. She now says I thought I was ready, but I realize I wasn't ready for how hard it was going to be. I got my answer. She changed the narrative about us in the beginning before the cheating. She says that she didn't mean I love you and talks about marriage as seriously as I took them. She says she's used to people just talking like that. Sounds like she's surrounded herself with flaky, shitty people whose words don't mean anything. The narrative is clearer now, a bit different from the one she's told me before, mind you, and she didn't see it as cheating because I love you and I want to marry you isn't making things official for her. So I really shouldn't be this hurt by it. Her story is still full of shit, because even if that was true, the way she went about it was cowardly and shitty. I have the answers I need now. She says that some guys tried to kiss her but she rejected them because she knew I wouldn't like it. But it sounds like to me she's more worried about the material consequence of losing me rather than a moral obligation to do the right thing and not hurt the people she loves. She says she'll get therapy when her mom pays for it, and that she genuinely wants to. She admits that she's had a problem and was addicted to attention. She says she'll cut off the people I asked her to cut off. She says she will be more selective about who she adds on social media. She says afraid of losing me. There is some sliver of hope there, but it's not enough. I didn't end it, but in my mind I know it's over because I know she isn't the person I wanted her to be, which isn't demanding a lot since I just wanted her to be a normal, moral person who is empathetic to the people she says loves. I really wanted to believe that she was just in a weird, confused state and made a mistake that she can own up to and better herself from. I realize now this is simply who she is. She is not a good person who made a mistake, she is a mentally ill person with a pathological habit of acting shitty. Her baseline moral standards are in the gutter. I was still madly in love with her after everything, but now I feel much less of it, although the feelings don't completely go away overnight. I haven't officially ended it because I don't want to give her closure. She can be left wondering because I don't care about how she feels, since she doesn't care about how others feel. Try r/soon after infidelity if you're wanting to stay together. I've tried posting there several times and every time my post is removed. I really wanted to work on this, but I guess this is unsalvageable. They removed this post, smiley face. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night. Wherever you are.